بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الأمين. Let us continue on our lectures about basic or principle of cost accounting. We already spoke in last lecture about the meaning and scope of the cost accounting. And we said that cost accounting is a branch of accounting. It concerns with analyzing, recording, analyzing, and reporting costs associated with the product or service that the company provides. Today we are going to speak about classification of costs. Classification of costs. Of course, we know that cost has involved classification to help in analyzing, controlling, and planning financial activities. What does that mean? That we classify the costs because there will be a lot of costs. We will classify these costs, put it in categorization to help us in analyzing the behavior of the cost, analyzing the cost from where it comes and what it will go to. Also, it will help us in controlling the cost because if we put every cost with each other, the same cost, the same items with each other, for example, if we put the cost of raw materials, المواد الخام, which we use for producing a product. For example, if you want to produce biscuit, you shall get some wheat, some sugar, water, and flavors, and other components like baking powder, something like that. You mix all these materials together. So this material we call the raw material for the production. Another example, if we want to make a chair from plastic chair, we shall get first of all, the main raw material for plastic chair is the plastic itself. If you have the plastic, you melt it in with heat, so you can shape it in the shape of the chair, and you get the chair. So the raw materials, we call it material. It may not be raw material, it may not be raw, it can be manufactured material. For example, if I want to make a wood chair, I will get wood, then I will get the nails, masamir. Nails is not raw material, it is manufactured material from iron, with some alloys, nickel, and something like that, what the chemicals say about it. This is the raw material. If we want also to know the cost of the labor, العمالة, labor. The labor are the persons who make or produce the product. النجار ولا الحداد ولا العجان اللي بيخبز العجينة عشان يطلع لي البسكويت أو كده. These are labor. They have wages and salaries. wages أجور salaries مرتبات كويس. These are the cost of the labor. So we put them together. This is what the meaning of classification. So we can classify cost in some categories. Some categories. Few of categories or some of these categories are as shown below. We can classify the cost by nature or element, by nature. طبيعة الcost ذات. Or element means something you put with another to other to make something. Elements of for example of food. It can be bread, meat, and water, for example. That's you grill the meat, you bring me bread, fish, and a cup of water. This is my food. So it's the components of the food are from elements. So we can classify costs by nature like this for three categories or three classes. Class number one is called material cost. Material cost. All the material we shall use in production, we put them together in one basket. This is called material cost. Cost of raw materials, of components like nails, المسامير, اللوكس, مفتاح القفل بتاع الباب وكده الأشياء دي. Also we can, the other class is labor cost. Labor cost. All the employees who are working with you to produce a product, their cost, like wages or salaries or anything you give them because they are working with you is called cost, labor cost. It's called labor cost. We can put them together. Number three, the class number three is overhead costs. Overhead are all the other costs, not material and not labor. أي تكاليف أخرى غير الليبر وغير الماتيريال we call it overhead cost. Like what? Indirect costs such as utilities. This is indirect cost. We shall know what's the meaning by indirect, direct or indirect. But indirect costs like utilities. Utilities are, it may be electricity is a utility, telephone is a utility, fees of the telephone are utilities, water are utilities, services like maintenance and catering for the employee when they are working الأكل يعني مشروبات كده. Rent of the building إيجار المحل. Rent of the equipment, depreciation of the equipment, all these are called overhead costs. So these costs, three classes of cost: material cost, labor cost, overhead cost. You cannot produce anything without these three classes of cost. ما بنقدر ننتج حاجة ما لم نشتري المواد وندفع لأجور العمال وندفع مصروفات المصنع الثانية، مصروفات المصنع الأخرى زي الرينت، زي اليوتيليتيز، زي الاكويبمنت ديبريشيشن وكل الأشياء دي. These are the classes of the cost by nature or element. Also, we can classify the cost by function. By function. Function يعني الوظيفة. Function, what the cost will do for us. What the cost or do for us. We know that we have, if you have a factory, مصنع, and you want to factorize or manufacture shoes, for example, shoes, أحذية. This factory has every group of people in this factory have something to do. عندهم وظيفة يعملوها. They have function to do. What for what are these functions? There are three functions. If your factory is working, will do three functions. Number one, producing, production. لأنك لازم تصنع الأحذية. Number two, administration. The general manager of the factory, accountants, محاسبين, lawyers, المحامين, IT engineers, مهندسين الحاسوب. These are administration. Number three, the function number three is selling and distribution the product. انت ممكن تنتج الانتاج وتحطه لي في المخزن وتقول لي خلاص انا بعد حققت اهدافي. لا، هدفك ما بيتحقق ما لم to take these products distributed توزعها على مراكز البيع and selling them تبيعهم. There are three functions. These three functions have, every function has costs. Production cost, like what? Any cost you incur to manufacture the product. أي مصروفات تتكبدها الشركة عشان تنتج المنتج بتاعها, this is can be classified or categorized in this class, what we call production cost. Administrative cost, any expenses related to general management of the company or the factory, even the fees you cost for النفايات حتى دي. All of these costs are called administrative costs. Number three, selling and distribution cost. Selling, the costs associated with marketing, like advertisement for the product, دعاية والإعلان, like the اسمها شنو هي coefficient, the intensive you give to sell men, كويس. Selling itself, it may cost you fuel for the car, depreciation, everything. Taking the product for delivery, also you can say these are the costs of the distribution. By behavior, also you can classify by behavior. Behavior, سلوك يعني, how the cost is going. There are three categories also in behavior: fixed cost, variable cost, and semi-variable cost. Fixed cost, التكاليف الثابتة, that remain constant regardless of production levels. Remain constant regardless يعني بغض النظر عن production level. Production level is one product, one unit, or 30,000 units. The same. For example, rent. If you rent the the house or the warehouse, you put the the machine inside it and make the production. إيجار المصنع يعني. This rent is remain constant if you produce or if not produce. لو أنتجت لو ما أنتجت you shall pay the rent because I don't for the owner of the building you rent from me, I have no I am not concerning about your production. If you produce or not produce, you should give me my rent payment at the end of the period we signed the contract together. هتديني إيجاري هتديني إيجاري. طيب what about variable costs? Variable costs that change directly مباشرة with the level of the production. That means these costs are associated with the units of production. For example, if you produce 1 unit and you put for example $1 for material, $0.5 for labor, and $2.50 for overhead. One for material, $0.5 for labor, 2.5 for overhead. These are 1 plus 5 plus half. This is 1.5. 2.5 plus 1.5 are $4. So the cost of the 1 unit is $4. If you produce 100 units, the cost will be 400. If you produce 1,000 units, the cost will be 4,000 units. This is variable cost. التكلفة المتغيرة تتغير بتغير شنو؟ عدد الوحدات المنتجة. Semi-variable costs. Semi-variable costs are composed from two costs: fixed cost plus variable cost. Fixed cost plus variable cost. For example, utility bills. Utility bills. فاتورة بتاعت الكهرباء لما تجي بتكون مقسومة هي ذاتها لاثنين، في جزء لازم تدفعه أنت، لازم تدفعه إيجار العداد بيسموه ما بعرف شنو تدفعه. كونه نحن حجزنا لك الخدمة دي تدفع لنا قروشها. So if the bill of the electricity will come to me every month, you should pay $15 for the service plus your consumption. Plus your consumption. Consumption معناتها الاستهلاك. في January, in January, you consume $35. The bill will come to you 35 consumption, 15 are the fees. The plus to the total are $50 you should pay for January. February you consume nothing you consume. You shut all the equipments, you go out for journey, you go out for holidays, anything you shut, no working at that time. So no consumption for electricity. The bill will come to you $15. $15. So $15 is you have to pay every month $15, $15 plus your consumption. Consumption can be variable. This month is 35, the other month is 0. For March it will be 20, and so on. These are variable while you are using these utilities or consumption consuming that utility. دي بنسميها التكلفة شبه المتغيرة. كويس؟ اللي هي فيها جزء ثابت لازم تدفعه وجزء متغير بالتغير بتاع الوحدة. by traceability معناتها تتبع. والtraceability by this category we classify our cost into two categories: direct cost and indirect cost. Direct costs are the costs that can be traced for a specific product or service. For example, direct material. Direct material, you can find it in the product. Because if you take one biscuit and you want to know the material of that biscuit, you can say if you, for example, you use 15 gram for sugar, 35 gram for wheat. So that is just you use for this production. So if you take 1 unit of the production and you weight it, you will find it will be 35 plus 15, it will be 50 grams. If you produce 1 unit, you will spend 50 grams, 15 for sugar, 35 for wheat. If you use 20, if you produce 20 units, this will be 100 or 1,000, 100. It will be 1,000 kilogram, 1 kilo, 1,000 gram. Why? Because 20 multiplied by 50 is equals to 1,000. 1,000. So you can trace the raw material inside the production. The whole production will be multiplied by the unit consumption for that cost. This can be traced, so this is direct cost. تكاليف مباشرة. Indirect costs that cannot be directly traced. For example, the rent cannot be traced for the production, because if you produce 1 unit, you shall pay the whole rent. You will pay the whole rent for producing 1 unit. If you produce 1 million unit, you will pay the same rent for all the million units. So you cannot trace it for single unit of the product. For example, factory maintenance. المطرجات عملنا له صلحنا الزنك فوق، ما أعرف عملنا له طلابة جوا، صلحنا الأرضيات. This is factory maintenance. You cannot associate it or trace it for a specific unit of the production. By decision making relevance، الحاجة المناسبة مع اتخاذ القرار. These are 3 categories also. One is called sunk costs. Sunk cost معناتها التكلفة الغارقة. sunk from sink كده. غريقة يغرق، غريقة غرقان. خلاص يعني غرق في البحر، غرق. Sunk cost already incurred and cannot be recovered. For example, the fees for the license. رسوم رخصة المحل. This is a sunk cost because this cost cannot be recovered. انت لما تدوك رخصة المحل ما بتقدر ترجعها تاني. يعني رخصة المحل دي بيدوك لها عشان انت تشتغل ويكون عندك اسم. اشتغلت ولا ما اشتغلت دفعتها. ما بتقدر ترجعها تاني من زول، يعني تقول لي زول يا اخي انت تدفع لي حق الرخصه ليه؟ لا، ما في طريقه. This is called sunk cost. Another clear example, for example, RED R&D Research and Development اللي هو تكاليف ان انت تدفع للبحوث والتطوير. تعرف تعمل لك منتج، بتقوم تجيب العلماء ويقعدوا يدرسوا لك ويعملوا لك ويخططوا وكده وكده، بتدفع عليهم قروش. القروش اللي بتدفعها للعلماء اللي بيعملوا لك الشغل ده، اللي بيصنعوا لك الحكايه دي ما بترجع لك تاني، ما بتقدر ترجعها. انت لو انتجت لو ما انتجت ما بتقدر ترجعها، خلاص دفعتها ومشت عشان يكون عندك اسم، عشان يكون عندك منتج وكده وكده. لكن لما تجي تعمل الانتاج بترجع ربحك، اللي ربحك اللي ممكن يغطي لك التكاليف السانك كوست. opportunity cost. What is the opportunity cost? Is the cost of the next best alternative for gun. لو كان عندك خيارين، عندك عدد من الخيارات، وانت امامك خيارين قريبات من بعض، تشتغل الاول ولا تشتغل الثاني. يعني مثلا فور اكزامبل لو كان عندك مكنه ممكن تعمل لي تو برودكتس، ممكن تعمل لي حذاء وممكن تعمل لي تي شيرت. تعمل لي حذاء وتعمل لي تي شيرت، دي المكنه ذاتها. كويس. if you use the machine to produce one product, it cannot be used at the same time to product the other products. ما في طريقه to produce the other product. يعني المكنه بتاعتي دي يا اشغلها تنتج لي حذاء او اشغلها تنتج لي شنطه مثلا، شنطه خليها من الملابس. يبقى يا اما تنتج الحذاء يا اما تنتج الشنطه at the same. هنا بكون عندك opportunity cost. if you produce the shoe, you will not produce the bag. But if you produce the bag and you sell the bag will give you high profit more than the shoe. الشو ما بيديك ربح زي ما بيديك له الشنطة مثلا، شنطة المدرسة. وبالتالي in this case this is if you don't produce the bag, this is an opportunity cost. راحت عليك، راحت عليك. So the opportunity cost is not a real cost, it is the cost that if is the difference between the two profits. profit بتاع الشنطة مثلا كان 100 والبروفيت بتاع الحذاء كان 70، في 30 رايحة عليك. This is the opportunity cost لو انت ما اشتغلت الشنطة. marginal cost is the cost of producing one additional unit of the output. For example لو انا كنت بنتج 100 وحدة وخدتي في حساباتي اني انا انتج 100 وحده بس، يبقى الكوست بتاعتي كلها هتكون ماشيه على ال 100 وحده. لو داير انتج 101 وحده زياده، يعني تاني وحده زياده، الكوست بتاعت الوحده الزياده دي بنسميها المارجنال كوست. المارجنال كوست يبقى ده النوع الثاني، النوع ال الخامس من انواع الكاتيجوريز او الكلاسز اللي انا ممكن نقسم بيها او ارتب بيها القصة. The last one by time period. Time period عندي two cost, historical cost. Cost has already been incurred and have خلاص صرفناه. This is called historical cost. التكلفة التاريخية. If you go you buy a bicycle in the beginning of the year, when you come at the end of the year, this will be historical cost. خلاص انتهى. The other one is the future cost. The future costs are the estimated cost for the future activities. لو دار تشتري بيت في السنة الجاية, this will be the cost for the future time called future cost. قلنا these are the classification of cost. وأقول قولي هذا وأختم هذه المحاضرة. أتمنى أنه نكون وصلت لكم فيها the classes of the cost. Thank you very much.